Israel just struck Iran's oil infrastructure for the first time. Fireballs are still burning over Tehran. And inside Iran, clerics say they've reached consensus on a successor to the Ayatollah killed 9 days ago. Israel's military has already vowed to go after whoever they name and everyone involved in naming them. You're watching NowBurst. This story is still developing, and what happened in the last 24 hours has changed this war. 9 days ago, the United States and Israel launched a military campaign against Iran. In the opening strikes, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Iran's supreme leader, was killed. Since then, airstrikes have targeted military installations, missile sites, and command infrastructure across the country. But until early Sunday morning, one category of target had not been touched: civilian energy infrastructure. That changed overnight. Israeli strikes hit an oil storage facility south of Tehran. Videos show enormous flames lighting up the night sky over the capital. An Iranian news agency reported at least 4 tanker drivers were killed. Israel's military says the facility was used to support Iranian military operations. Iran's foreign minister said a separate U.S. airstrike also damaged an Iranian desalination plant. But the destruction isn't flowing in just one direction. Iran responded by sending drones into Bahrain, damaging a desalination plant in the Gulf state. That's the first strike on Gulf water infrastructure in this conflict. Desalinated seawater is the primary source of drinking water for countries across the region, and much of the global economy runs on oil from these same nations. Energy and water are now targets on both sides, and the economic consequences stretch far beyond the Middle East. The question for economists is how global oil markets will respond when trading opens. Then came the announcement from Tehran. A member of Iran's Assembly of Experts, the body of clerics responsible for selecting the supreme leader, said a majority had agreed on Khamenei's successor. He didn't say who. The assembly is reportedly preparing to gather in the city of Qom. Israel's response was immediate. The military posted a warning in Farsi saying it would pursue every successor and every person involved in the selection process. At a press conference, Prime Minister Netanyahu said Israel seeks to destabilize the regime and enable change. Iran's Assembly of Experts has not publicly responded to the threat. Analysts now ask whether targeting Iran's leadership succession fragments the regime or pulls support around whoever emerges. The war is also spreading geographically and fast. In Lebanon, the Israeli military struck the Ramada Plaza Hotel in central Beirut on Sunday, killing at least 4 people, according to Lebanese health officials. This is the first strike on the heart of the capital since the war with Iran began. Previous Israeli strikes had focused on southern Lebanon and Beirut's southern suburbs, areas considered strongholds of Hezbollah, the Iranian-backed political and military organization designated a terrorist group by the United States and European Union. The Israeli military said the strike killed 5 Iranian Revolutionary Guard commanders operating in Lebanon and vowed it would not allow Iranian military elements to establish themselves on Lebanese territory. Nearly 300 people have been killed in Lebanon and tens of thousands displaced since the campaign started. Displaced families who fled the bombing in the south are staying in hotels like the Ramada. And the conflict has reached Iraq. Iranian missiles and attacks by paramilitary proxies have intensified across Iraq's Kurdistan region. A strike on the U.S. base at Erbil's International Airport killed a Kurdish security member. Rockets hit the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad on Saturday, with one reportedly striking the embassy's helicopter landing pad. Iran and Iraqi militias it supports also hit a United Nations hotel in Sulaymaniyah, a Kurdish fighter brigade, and an Iranian opposition base. Komala, an Iranian armed opposition group, said one of its fighters was killed and another wounded. Iraq's government pledged to arrest the militia members it holds responsible for the embassy attacks. Diplomacy, meanwhile, is pulling in opposite directions. President Trump went after British Prime Minister Keir Starmer on Truth Social after reports that the United Kingdom readied 2 aircraft carriers for possible deployment to the region. Britain has not joined offensive operations against Iran. Starmer initially refused to allow U.S. forces to use British bases for strikes on Iran, then later approved what he described as defensive U.S. action from bases in Gloucestershire and Diego Garcia. Trump responded with a blunt message. We don't need people that join wars after we've already won. China took the opposite line. Foreign Minister Wang Yi called for an immediate ceasefire, saying armed conflict breeds hatred and that might does not make right. China has offered to mediate, though it maintains closer ties to Iran than to either the United States or Israel. That alignment raises questions about whether Trump's planned meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping will still happen in the coming weeks. 9 days in, this war has moved beyond military targets and beyond 2 countries. Oil depots, water plants, civilian hotels, a United Nations building, and diplomatic compounds have all come under fire. In Bahrain, workers are assessing damage to a facility that supplies drinking water. In Tehran, a fire is still burning at the oil depot. In Beirut, families who thought they'd found somewhere safe are packing and moving again. And somewhere in Iran, a group of clerics is preparing to announce the next supreme leader of the Islamic Republic, knowing that at least one military has promised to come after whoever they choose.